residents from Friday the 7th of June, followed by a reminder with local and national results being published in late October 2019. Since the survey is based on a sample, residents that receive a copy are being urged to take part. Residents that receive the questionnaire can complete the survey online if they prefer. A short URL link will be printed in front of the questionnaire. They will be required to enter a code before completing the questionnaire. The results will enable us to find out what people in Cumbria think about these important services. This will provide one of the several ways Cumbria County Council can assess how it is performing. It gives the public an opportunity to say which services they think the council should prioritise and improve. And that's your news update here on Eden FM.
Eden FM weather with Worldwide Travel of Penrith. We can't promise you the weather, but we can promise you the best experience in booking a holiday. Call Worldwide Travel now on Penrith 865 918.
So here is your Eden FM weather forecast for the weekend. Well, Saturday could be looking a lot brighter than Friday. Temperatures could be up as far as 18 or 19 degrees. There is still a little cloud around, but there is a lot less rain about, so it could be in for a dry day with a lot of sun in the morning, which could take us through the day, just depending on that gentle breeze that moves those clouds along. But otherwise, light cloud, temperatures up to 19 degrees and little chance of rain at least until later on in the night. And as we head into Sunday, we have temperatures of around 18 to 19 degrees, but there is an increased chance of some rain in the morning, which hopefully will die out towards the end of the day from tea time onwards. So light rain, moderate breeze, good chance of rain in the morning, but hopefully a sunny afternoon for us on Sunday. And there's your weekend weather outlook here on Eden FM.
Your community station. Your 107.5 Eden FM. LJ on Eden FM.
I before E, but not before me. Hello and welcome to The Bridge. It's your bridge between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. Hello and welcome to Eden FM 107.5. I'm your host LJ, and what have we got in store for you today? Well, we return to our album In Focus, which has two titles. One of them is named after a very famous actor, Steve McQueen, but that was a bit of a problem for the band, and they it when they released the album in the States. We'll tell you more about that album from Prefab Sprout, and we'll have another song from it. We'll also be sharing some brand new music with you. After all, music is for the sharing. And we've also got to look back at the charts of yesteryear as we take a look at what was brand new into this week's chart of many moons ago. There is all of this, plus we'll be talking about what's new in the cinema, in CinemaScope. I guess I finally named the Friday feature where we talk about what's brand new in the cinema. I only look for one movie that I'd like to highlight, and this week we'll be talking about that one movie in particular. So now it's called CinemaScope, as we scope out just the one movie. We start off with Funky Town because it's a good place to start. Good title, good track. You're listening to Eden FM 107.5, and thank you very much for doing so, ladies and gentlemen. You make it all worthwhile. We are broadcast live from Penrith, across the Eden Valley, and even further via the help of the internet. Whichever way you are enjoying today's show, thank you for joining us.
Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town?
So it was Funky Town to start off today's show. You're listening to The Bridge here on Eden FM 107.5. That was Lips Inc. I have to say it nice and slowly as they are two separate words, not lip sync. Anyway, that was Lips Sync. I can't say it again. And we're going to move on with the show. We've got some, I got a track from this very week from many moons ago. I just can't say it for some reason. Having one of those difficult starts. I'm sure I'll be into the swing of things just in time to finish the show at 8 o'clock. We've got brand new music we'll be sharing with you. We'll be returning to the album In Focus, which this week is from Prefab Sprout. It's their second studio album and released back in 1985. We'll have more fun facts like that, but not those ones again, or hopefully not those ones again. So we'll tell you more about that album and play another song from it. We're also going to try and G you up for whatever it is that you've got in store for the weekend. I certainly hope that it is a wonderful one, planned or unplanned. Unplanned ones tend to be, the unplanned wonderful things tend to be the best. Alright, or is that just my humble opinion? That's just my humble opinion, brought to you by Eden FM 107.5. Up next, we move back to the charts of yesteryear, and this song was brand new into this week's chart of 1989 from We Got a Fuzzbox, or Fuzzbox actually. They do have, their name has been changed ever so slightly, I think, over the years. Anyway, the name of this song is Pink Sunshine, and it came in at number 33. Sounds a little like this. There it is.
Down the sides, meeting two friends from just down the road.
So that was brand new to this week's chart of 1989, and I'm pretty sure it came in at number 33, and I'm just about to check my notes. I'm pretty sure I was right. Yes, 33 is where we first heard We've Got a Fuzzbox, or Fuzzbox with Pink Sunshine. You're listening to Eden FM 107.5, and thank you very much for doing so, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Bridge. I am your host, LJ, and I am with you each and every Friday between the hours of 6 and 8. It's a time slot that I like, as you can also join me on Wednesdays, but no doubt I'll tell you more about that show later on in this show. Another feature to look forward to. We'll also be looking back at some of the big news stories from this very week, but from many moons ago. So not to worry about them like they're current events, but to remember them with fondness in our hearts. Some of them, at least some of them. We try to look for the brighter news stories, as it's the beginning of the weekend here at this time on a Friday. So we don't really want to bum you out. We want to lift you up and encourage you to take on whatever it is the weekend is inclined to throw at you, at least this time around. So we've got brand new music lined up for you next, and this is a band, 6 members, a 6-piece band who are from London and also Bahrain. They are entitled Flamin' Gods, and the name of this song is Olympia. Have a listen and see what you think. It's brand new music, or the first of the brand new music on today's show here on Eden FM 107.5. So the first of the brand new music on today's show, that is Flamin' Gods Let me get that correct. And the name of the song is Olympia. So if you want to find out more about that artist, then there is a link to them and their Twitter feed on my Twitter feed, which I've also put a link up to on the Eden FM Twitter feed as well. Too many times I've said Twitter feed there now. So we're going to move on with the show, and we're going to address the elephant that's on the record player, as up next we'll be listening to Elephant from Tame Impala. All puns are intended. So what else have we got in store? Well, there's still plenty of great features here on a Friday, but we're not going to bog you down with too much hard work at your end. We'll do all the heavy lifting. Stay tuned to Eden FM 107.5. You know it makes sense, but if you don't, stay tuned, and I shall do my best to prove it to you. Elephant, Tame Impala, right now.
LJ on Eden FM.
People, do you want a laptop? Seek salvation at D-Tech Computers. D-Tech, do you sell big brand laptops?
Yeah.
That won't cost me the earth?
Yeah.
With jargon-free technical support that I will never have to pay for in my lifetime?
Yeah.
Well, that was easy.
D-Tech Computers. D-Tech Computers.
New
laptops from £249? You better believe it. Home delivery and setup available. Get conditions from D-Tech Computers in James Street, Carlisle and Scotland Road, Penrith.
Flock to 'em, my laptop lovers. Flock to 'em.
This is 107.5 Eden FM.
So eventually I'm going to decide on which music to use for the stories of old, the history of yore, I suppose would be a good title. I've got to come up with a title as well at some point. Anyway, you're back listening to The Bridge here on Eden FM 107.5, and thank you very much for doing so, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, LJ, and I'll be with you all the way up until 8 o'clock. So, up next, we're talking to you about the news stories from years ago. So we start off only a mere 100 years ago, as there is a older story than that to go to, but we'll start off with the 100 years ago and the genius, and I'm pretty sure there's nobody who's going to disagree with this statement, the genius Albert Einstein, who was also dyslexic. I think that's a fascinating fact. Should have saved that for a Wednesday show. Anyway, Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity was tested and proven to be correct during a solar eclipse in May of 1919. So, about 100 years ago. It's a good anniversary, I think, and that's what basically it's all about. That's the reason we talk about the history of old, is because it's worth remembering. Some great things have happened to bring us to this very day, even if you're having a bad one. So we move on to Creedence Clearwater Revival and Fortunate Son, as I certainly hope that everybody, regardless of gender, is fortunate out there today. And thank you very much for joining me, to hear me say that at the very least, to hear me wish you all the best. Here is Fortunate Son here on Eden FM 107.5. A song of an era. That was Creedence Clearwater Revival with Fortunate Son, and I'm pretty sure it's been in almost every movie ever made about Vietnam. But anyway, we move on with the show, and we try to not bog you down with too much heavy stuff. What have we got in store next? Well, after our very next song, we shall return to the album in focus. On a Wednesday show, I like to introduce you to an album in focus that you could already have in your collection for all I know, but I can't find out from this end here at least anyway. So I try to remind you or introduce you to an album in focus, and we stay true to it all week long. We hear two songs from that album on the Wednesday show at the same time slot between 6 and 8, and we return once again on a Friday show to remind you about another great track from it. But we don't have two songs, just the one. We don't have two songs, just the one. And then we move in the half an hour position on the second hour. We've Got You Covered will be the other feature where the album in focus would have been on the Wednesday show. I'm kind of getting myself a little bit confused. Anyway, we will be back with the second studio album from Prefab Sprout very shortly. But between us and that is Parcels with Overnight. Still more brand new music on today's show. We'll also be talking to you very shortly about the new cinema release in CinemaScope.
Thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. Slow down, never. I know now, I know better. I need it more than ever. Go back under, hope that I fall on track. It's all I've said and done. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight. It's overnight. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing. The minute I was thinking to hold you back. The moment I was wishing it's overnight.
So like a bag or like a parcel, that was Overnight from Parcels. But we're going to move to our album in focus next. And as I say, it is entitled Steve McQueen, or at least that is just one of its titles. More facts coming right
The album in focus.
about now. So yes, what are we talking about? We're talking about Steve McQueen, which is the second studio album from Prefab Sprout. Prefab Sprout got their name by randomly selecting a couple of words, which I think is a interesting fact, but I believe they're probably tired about being asked about it. So that's why I'm trying to promote that piece of information as well. So this album was entitled, in America, did have to have a completely different title. Two Wheels Good was its title in America because of the Steve McQueen the Steve McQueen estate, who objected to its title, and I can understand why, really, can't you? So this album is an excellent album. We played on Wednesday's show, we played 2 songs, one of them being the biggest hit from the album, although it did take 3 releases of the single for it to make it into the charts, and that was When Love Breaks Down. So we moved to the very last song on this album, and it's entitled When the Angels. There was over 50 songs in consideration for this album. Thomas Dolby was the main producer for it, but not the only producer for this album, and helped whittle them down. All the songs were being kept in shoeboxes underneath Paddy McLuhan's bed, which I think is also a fascinating fact. But let's move to the song we're talking about. So it's the very last song on the album, and it is entitled When the Angels. Here, have a listen and see what you think. Maybe it will remind you that you want to dig out your copy of this very excellent album indeed.
When the angels take the angel voice away, some lower their eyes, some of us shout cheats for cheating on the deal, for pulling off the sting, for tuning up the harps, for dishing out the wings. If they can dance so on the head of a pin, don't that tell you something about their skin? Hard-faced little when the angels take the angel voice away, jealously they see. But sometimes, man, you must get so blasé, knowing you'll never die, lounging on a cloud, polishing the sky. The memories of blue, borrowed for the day, they sit around ignored till someone goes away. If they can dance so on the head of a pin, don't that tell you something about their skin? Hard-faced little when the angels take the angel voice away, jealously
So that was Prefab Sprout with When the Angels. That's the very last song on the album in focus for this week, which is entitled Two Wheels Good if you're in America, and also it is entitled Steve McQueen for These Shores Over Here. Their home town, their home release has the original title. So we would have a official link to that album on a Wednesday show, but we're now going to move to CinemaScope. CinemaScope, we're talking to you about the new releases, or a new release, and we scope out a new release for the cinema for you. So if you're on a bit of a loose end and don't know what to do with yourself tonight, this evening, maybe just this weekend, maybe this will be the movie that will interest you. Okay, yes, so I take a look for just the one movie to mention to you each and every week, and this is the highlight for this week. So it is rated 12A, keep that in consideration if you cannot go to see this, or you have some young ones that you wanted to bring in tow. So, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Well, I think that goes without saying now, although I'm pretty sure King Kong would have something to say about it. So, action fantasy, goes without saying as well, where eco-terrorists release the ancient monster who battles for supremacy. This is also starring Minnie Bobby Brown. I think I'm probably mispronouncing her name, although it's a fairly simple name. So she was in Stranger Things. She was the main character in Stranger Things. You'll recognise the face, or maybe you won't. Maybe you're not aware of Stranger Things, and I could recommend that one to you too. So yes, 300 plus locations up and down the country. This is a big release, so you shouldn't have a problem finding Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So if they keep making them, I'm going to keep spinning this track, Blue Oyster Cult, Godzilla. You don't have to say it that way, it just makes it better.
With a purposeful grimace and a terrible sound, he pulls the spinning high tension wires down.
So that was Blue Oyster Cult with Godzilla, and that was tied in directly to this week's CinemaScope, as we have scoped out a movie that is brand new into the cinema for this week, and that is the recommendation for this week. It is Godzilla, King of Monsters. I think that was the full title. At least anyway, there is more information to be had. I have posted up a link to their Twitter feed and also to the trailer, I think, as well. So have a look, find out more information about it before you part with your hard-earned cash. So, scary, great, big, massive monsters. We do have a new song to follow this next track, but I just thought I'd make a link between these two songs, as we do have Two for Friday each and every week, although this isn't it. Two for Friday has some sort of logical link between the songs, in a sort of way like this, as this is not too logical, this one, although I'll let you be the judge. So, Godzilla, a great big massive monster. Well, what is more scary is lots of little monsters, at least in my opinion. Lots of little monsters would be able to get you and would probably notice you way more than Godzilla would. So, in my opinion, I'm more scared of the Wombles.
Underground, overground, wombling free. The wombles of Wimbledon, common are we. Making good use of the things that we find, things that the everyday folks leave behind. Uncle Bulgaria, we can remember the days when he wasn't behind the times. With his map of the world, pick up the papers and take him to Tobermory. Wombles are organized, work as a team. Wombles are tidy and wombles are clean. Underground, overground, wombling free. The wombles of Wimbledon, common are we. People don't notice us, they never see. Under their noses a womble may be. We womble by night and we womble by day, looking for litter to trundle away. We're so incredibly, utterly devious, making the most of everything. Even bottles and tins, pick up the pieces and make them into something new. It's what we do. Underground, overground, wombling free. The wombles of Wimbledon, common are we. Making good use of the things that we find, things that the everyday folks leave behind.
So they weeble, they womble, but they never fall down. That was the Womble song, so I couldn't help myself. I had to play it. As also somebody said to me, I don't think you would play that song, would you? Not that the psychology always works on me. Reverse psychology, that's the word I was looking for. For some reason, I just couldn't find the reverse gear. We've got brand new music lined up for you next, and this is from 10 Tons, or also known, or his birth name would be Ethan, and the name of this song is Counting Down. So there is a link to 10 Tons, his Twitter feed, from ours at Eden FM, as well as my own personal one too. So if you want to find out more about any of the new stuff you hear about on today's show, that would be your first port of call, or at least that's where I can recommend for you to go. So Counting Down, here, have a listen and see what you think of it.
Magic baby, meet me in the middle when you turn out the lights. 'Cause every time you call my name, you're out of reach. And every moment comes too late. That don't matter to me. So I'm counting down the minutes till I see next. 5, 4, out the darkness, I can feel it rising up. Stare at the calendar, wish for a meteor, cause I can't wait much longer. Cause every time you call my name, you're out of reach. And every moment comes too late, but that don't matter to me. Yes, I'm counting down the minutes till I see you next. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And your friends see that I'm lazy and I always forget, but you know they got it all wrong. Yes, I'm counting down the minutes till I see you next. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And your friends see that I'm lazy and I always forget, but you know they got it all wrong. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I ain't got all the time in the world, but I got just enough for my girl. Yes, I'm counting down the minutes till I see you next. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your friends say that I'm lazy and I always forget, but you know they got it all wrong. Yes, I'm counting down the minutes till I see you next. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And your friends say that I'm lazy and I always forget, but you know they got it all wrong. Yes, I'm counting down, counting down. Yes, I'm counting down, counting down.
So that was 10 Tons with the second instalment of the brand new music. That was Counting Down, and if he sounds a little bit like George Ezra, that's because I believe they're brothers. His name is Ethan, and we move on with the show. Up next, we'll be listening to The Kills, and from their 2016 album Ash and Ice, we'll be listening to Doing It to Death. We've got a few moments left on this first hour of the show, but there is still plenty of features to be enjoyed in the second hour of the show. So don't go changing. Stay just the wonderful person that you are, and also here at Eden FM 107.5, because this is your voice, your choice in the community. We are a community-based radio station based on volunteers as well. So keeping all of that in mind, thank you very much for joining us. You make it all worthwhile. Otherwise, we'll be talking to ourselves, as I often like to say. Here is The Kills, Doing It to Death, and then we've got maybe just one more song before the top of the hour, and then we'll have the news and the weather, and then I'll be back with a whole second part of today's show. Not particularly spoiling you, that's just the way it is each and every week.
Baby, save
Doing it to death. That was The Kills here on Eden FM 107.5. We've got one more song between us and the top of the hour, and that is from Muse with Time Is Running Out. Every pun intended. Thank you very much for joining me here on Eden FM for The Bridge. It's the bridge between the working week and whatever the wonders of the weekend has in store for us all.
On the air and online at edenfm.co.uk. This is 107.5 Eden FM.
In the news, local people are being asked for their views on Cumbria's highways and transport services, from the condition of the roads and footpaths to the quality of cycling facilities. Their answers will be compared with the views of other members of the public across England and Scotland, thanks to the National Highways and Transport Public Satisfaction Survey. Cumbria County Council is one of 111 local authorities to sign up for the standardised survey that will ask members of the public exactly the same questions wherever they live in Cumbria. The survey, which is being run for the 10th year, is the largest collaboration between local authorities, offering the opportunity to compare results, share best practice and identify further opportunities to work together in the future. The questionnaire will be sent to a minimum random sample of at least 3,300 Cumbria residents from Friday the 7th of June, followed by a reminder with local and national results being published in late October 2019. Since the survey is based on a sample, residents that receive a copy are being urged to take part. Residents that receive the questionnaire can complete the survey online if they prefer. A short URL Our link will be printed in front of the questionnaire. They will be required to enter a code before completing the questionnaire. The results will enable us to find out what people in Cumbria think about these important services. This will provide one of the several ways Cumbria County Council can assess how it is performing. It gives the public an opportunity to say which services they think the council should prioritise and improve. And that's your news update here on Eden FM.
Eden FM weather with Worldwide Travel of Penrith. We can't promise you the weather, but we can promise you the best experience in booking a holiday. Call Worldwide Travel now on Penrith 865 918.
So here is your Eden FM weather forecast for the weekend. Well, Saturday could be looking a lot brighter than Friday. Temperatures could be up as far as 18 or 19 degrees. There is still a little cloud around, but there is a lot less rain about, so it could be in for a dry day with a lot of sun in the morning, which could take us through the day, just depending on that gentle breeze that moves those clouds along. But otherwise, light cloud, temperatures up to 19 degrees and little chance of rain at least until later on in the night. And as we head into Sunday, we have temperatures of around 18 to 19 degrees, but there is an increased chance of some rain in the morning, which hopefully will die out towards the end of the day from tea time onwards. So light rain, moderate breeze, good chance of rain in the morning, but hopefully a sunny afternoon for us on Sunday. And there's your weekend weather outlook here on Eden FM.
This is 107.5 Eden FM. LJ on Eden FM.
I before E, but not before me. Hello and welcome to Sights to Hear and Sounds to See here on Eden FM 107.5. This is The Bridge. Hello, I am your host LJ, and I'll be with you all the way up until 8 o'clock. We're starting off the weekend and encouraging you to make the most of it. Whatever it is that's it's going to throw at you, I certainly hope it is a great weekend in store. We're going to start off this second hour of the show with Here We Go Again. Here It Goes Again, sorry, by OK Go. We have a segment on a Friday show called We've Got You Covered, which is all about a cover song or its original. At least we'll be telling you a little bit about its history and hearing said song or its cover version. And we'll also be providing some more brand new music for you, looking back at the charts of yesteryear, and we're also looking out for the the old news stories, the news stories, the and finally type of news stories, the ones that will put a bit of a smile on your face. That's basically the kind of criteria we look for in our old stories of this week, but many moons ago. So we don't have to worry about them like they're current events, but we'll hopefully put a bit of a smile on your face about them. We were talking about Albert Einstein in the first hour, and we'll have different facts to tell you about in this hour. There is also Two for Friday. Two for Friday is two songs that are logically linked, at least in my logical mind, but you might spot the link. Feel free to make a guess. We start off with Here It Goes Again.
Just when you think you're in control,
Okay, go with Here It Goes Again. You're listening to Eden FM 107.5, and that was the first song of the second hour of today's show. Thank you very much for joining me here on Eden FM 107.5. It is your voice, your choice in the community, and you make it all worthwhile by joining us. You don't have to do too much heavy lifting. We'll do all of that at this end, and you just need to sit back, relax, and enjoy. We've got brand new music lined up for you as we will also return to the charts of yesteryear, and I have forgotten to do that as our very next song. So what I shall do is I shall play the new music, as my mind was somewhere else. I'll play some new music right now, and then we'll move back to the charts of yesteryear for our next song. We'll get it there in the end. Just, was that the deliberate mistake of today's show? I don't know, but has it made its return unannounced? Who knows? We've got brand new music lined up for you now, and this is an artist whose real name is Brian, although he is also known as SYML from Seattle. The name of this song is Break Free. If you want to find out more about Brian, also known as SYML, is that Samuel? I don't know. It looks like that to me, at least anyway. But then I'm dyslexic, and I'll point that out, or at least I'll try to point that out before it points itself out. So here is brand new music. It's entitled Break Free. It is from the aforementioned artist. If you want to find out more about them, then the Twitter feed would be the my suggestion of...
Like a punch in the face. Why don't you sit down closer to me? I'm talking sex, religion, politics, and stereotypes. You know I could make you weak in the knees. But when I come home late at night and I'm all alone, I can't sleep. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if it's good at me, I can't break free. I can't break free. Keep it simple, honey, don't think too much. You know we don't care what you believe. I'm just a closeted misogynist in love with myself. Don't be mad, it's everything you could dream. Exactly what you think. I can't hardly hold my shit together. I need it. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if it's good at me, I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if I wanna be free, I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if it's good at me, I can't break free. I can't break. Ooh, child, tell me, can you hear me crying in the night? Ooh, child, heaven's got me down here fighting for my life. I don't wanna hold this any longer. I'm coming clean. I can't break free. I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if it's good at me, I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if I wanna be free, I can't break free. I can't break free. Even if it's good at me, I can't break free. I can't break free.
So that was Break Free. It's brand new music here on Eden FM. It's the third instalment of the brand new music on today's show, and we still have one more left for you. That was that was SYML, or his birth name is Brian, and he is from Seattle. I can see why he's gone with the name of SYML. It's a little bit more memorable than Brian. But anyway, I don't want to cast aspersions on anyone else's names. After all, I only have 2 letters for my name, LJ. So, you're listening to LJ here on Eden FM 107.5, and thank you very much for doing so, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Bridge. It is the bridge between the working week and the wonders of the weekend. That's certainly the way I like to say it. So I did forget to do the chart release as the next song, the second song of the second hour of today's show, but I believe it may have been the deliberate mistake of the show, but as I'm the only person who decides those kind of things, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't tell myself in advance. We have a track from the charts of yesteryear as our very next one. This is a funky song. It says so in the title. Here is Funky Cold Medina.
I dig it. Coolin' at a bar, and I'm looking for some action. But like Mick Jagger said, I can't get no satisfaction. The girls are all around, but none of them wanna get with me. My threads are fresh and I'm looking deaf. Yo, what's up, what LOC? The girls was all jocking at the other end of the bar, having drinks with some no-name chump when they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, Funky Cold Medina. Funky Cold Medina. This brother told me a secret on how to get more chicks. Put a little Medina in your glass and the girls will come real quick. It's better than any alcohol or aphrodisiac. A couple of sips of this love potion and she'll be on your lap. So I gave some to my dog when he began to beg. And then he licked his bowl and he looked at me and did a wild thing on my leg. And he used to scratch and bite me before he was much, much meaner. But now all the poodles run to my house for the Funky Cold Medina. You know what I'm saying? I got every dog in my neighborhood breaking down my door. I got Spuds McKenzie, Alex from Strohs. They won't leave my dog alone with that Medina, pal. I went out to this girl. She said, hi, my name is Sheena. I thought she'd be good to go with a little Funky Cold Medina. She said, I'd like a drink. I said, okay, I'll go get it. And then a couple of sips, she go lick the lips, and I knew that she was with it. So I took her to my crib, and everything went well as planned. But when she got undressed, it was a big old mess. Sheena was a man. So I threw her out. I don't fool around with no Oscar Mayer wiener. You must be sure that your girl is pure for the Funky Cold Medina. You know, ain't no plans with a man. This is the 80s and I'm down with the ladies, you know. Break it down.
So that was Tone Loc with Funky Cold Medina. That was brand new into this week's chart of 1989, and it was in at number 26 for Tone Loc. And I'm going to move on to a song that has a direct connection to this. I'm a huge fan of hip hop, and I have been for many, many years. I don't play very much hip hop on the show though. So I'm going to move to another hip hop song. This next artist actually penned Funky Cold Medina. He wasn't the only person to have penned Funky Cold Medina, although he is the main artist that you would know. He's the one who's had a few hits of his own. So we move from Funky Cold Medina, that was brand new into this week's chart of 1989, on to Young MC, who originally penned Funky Cold Medina for Tone Loc. And we're going to be hearing Know How. Yes, and you can notice the sample of Isaac Hayes.
silliest rhymes ever made by man are going into this mic written by this hand, are coming out of this mouth made by this tongue. I tell you now, my man, my name is Young, but so you think that this your destiny to get the best of me, but I suggest to be quiet, bro. Don't even try it. From the east and west of me, taking it and never breaking it, or even shaking it, grooving it and always moving it, cause I'm not faking it, pulling out rhymes like books off the shelf. Born in England, raised in Holland, taught to go for myself. This is stone cold rhyming, no frills, no fluffs, and it's no accident that these rhymes sound tough. I'm going off, baby, there's no turning back. I'm on your TV, on your album cassette, and 8-track, and when the show is finally finished, I'll be taking my bow. My name is Young, and yo, I got no how. You know what I'm saying? I got no how. Party people, I got no how. I kick it just like this. I got juice like the president. I'm making rappers hesitant. Invite me to your house and I'll be chilling like a resident. Yes, cause I'm that type of man. Cause I make myself at home no matter where I am. I got it rolling like thunder, making y'all wonder why I'm on top with all the other rappers under. I make no errors, mistakes or blunders. It's like a wedding, let no man put us under. My name is Young and see I like to rock right well. Cause when I get up on the mic I just release my spell. It's no hocus pocus, I just get you into focus and swarm all over you just like a horde of locusts. Smooth operator, female persuader. Spot a fly girl and in a week I'm on a data. I got the kind of style for the here and the now, and I can do it cause I got no how. You know what I'm saying? I got no how. Party people, I got no how. Bust it, bust it, bust it. MCs I ruin, cause I know what I'm doing. I treat them like double, make gum and start chewing. I spit them out when the flavor's gone, and I repeat the chewing process till the break of dawn. Cause I'm tough like a bone, sly like Stallone, rocking and clocking on the microphone. Smooth like a mirror and hearts that strike terror. Rhymes like runs and hits with no errors. Cold like a blizzard on the mic, I am the wizard with the funky fresh rhymes coming out of my gizzard. Never season, never coughing, I rock the mic often. Hard as a rock and no sign, I soften. Making sure I get respect on my mind, rhymes connect. I start to build like a builder from an architect. Moving all around above and under the ground, you see my face, and then you hear my sound coming at ya with the mic in hand. I'm gonna take command just the way I plan, cause I'm a one-man band and you are my fan, don't you understand? I'm like Superman, you're the man of steel, don't you know the deal? You better be for real, I got sex appeal, this is what I feel, and this here's my vow, and now you know the brother with no how, you know what I'm saying? I got no how, and I'm chillin', never illin'. In my mouth I got two feelings. Whatever, I'm on a mic, cold stone, getting over. My name is Young and C, known as the Fly Casanova. Kick it.
Your community station. Your 107.5 Eden FM.
There's a lot more than posters at Penrith Posters. From a single photocopy through to wedding stationery, business printing, and of course, those posters. Penrith Posters is the place you need. Our design team will help with any project, bringing your vision to reality. Whether you need business cards, takeaway menus, leaflets, personal and business stationery, or printing your photographs onto canvas, call in and see us at Penrith Posters in Market Square.
LJ on Eden FM.
So we take a look at the anniversaries, the news history of this very week, but many moons ago. As many as we can go back as far as we possibly can for this week's one. This is the oldest story I have. So as many as 2,259 years ago, the first recorded sighting of Halley's Comet, May 240 BC. So yeah. I thought that was an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure whether we can be so precise to the actual day, and I'm pretty sure that nobody was calling it Halley's Comet. But an interesting story from yesteryear all the same. I'm pretty sure you'll agree. Also, more of a Star Wars based one. Well, it's definitely a Star Wars story, as 42 years ago, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope was released May 1977. So these are the anniversaries for this week that I had to point out, and I'm glad it was you that I pointed them out to. We get there in the end. So thank you very much for listening to Eden FM 107.5. This is The Bridge. It is the 6th ever episode of The Bridge. I am your host, LJ. I am here each and every Friday and Wednesday between the hours of 6 and 8. We've got you covered, still to come, and 2 for Friday, as well as more brand new music. Stay tuned to Eden FM. That's just the way we like it. Up next, we're listening to Kasabian. So that's Kasabian. You're listening to Eden FM 107.5, and we've just heard Kasabian with Processed Beats. We're moving to We've Got You Covered. This very next song is actually the cover version, possibly the better known version of the song would be this cover version we're about to hear, but originally it was the very first song recorded by Joe Jones and Henry Glover, the rhythm and blues singers from back in the 60s, and it was recorded back in 1961. It wasn't the very and only time it was covered, as I thought this was the original original. Until I did my research, I thought this next one was the original. The Rivieras covered it in 1964, so only 3 short years after its original release. And then many moons pass, and we find the Ramones get their hands on it for a cover version of their own. So the song is entitled California Sun. It is covered by the Ramones in 1977, and here is We've Got You Covered for this week. Oops, that was an accident. So that didn't mean to happen. I do apologise for the little issue we have had in the sound there, but we've got you covered for this week. So that was the Ramones version of California Sun, released in 1977. Unfortunately, we'll have to get back to that at some other date. So I'm hoping that my system, yes, it seems to have loaded back up. We seem to be okay here. So yes, what have we got in store next? Right now we're calming down and we're trying not to freak out. That would be what we're up to right now. But we've still got to come on today's show. 2 for Friday, where we'll have 2 back-to-back songs that have some sort of logical link to them. At least that's what I'm claiming. Listen to both songs, see if you can spot what I'm linking them by. This week's fairly obvious, actually, so it shouldn't be too hard at all. Up next, we'll be listening to Frank Moody with Pheromones, and there is also more brand new music still on today's show, as something else I feel like I'm forgetting, but I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point, at least anyway. You're listening to Eden FM 107.5. We are broadcast live, as some of the mistakes will make obvious on my behalf. They are all planned and intentional mistakes, though. So yes, some of the mistakes will make it fairly obvious that we are live here from Penrith, and we get broadcast across the Eden Valley and also across the world via the help of the internet. If you want to find out more about us here, we are a volunteer-based radio station, and there is more information to be had at www.edenfm.co.uk. So onward and upward. Pheromones. Frank Moody. Yes, we have sound.
My senses are overload. 'Cause I'm caught up in your undertone. You say our star signs just ain't compatible. Cancerians never work with Capricorns. Enough, I just can't get enough. Enough, I just can't get enough. Enough, I just can't get enough. Enough, I just can't get enough.
Pheromones from Frank Moody here on Eden FM 107.5. You're listening to The Bridge. I'm your host LJ, and I am here each and every Friday, each and every Wednesday at the same time slot between the hours of 6 and 8. The two shows that I do here at Eden FM are completely different, except for it's still me. There is a few things that tie both shows together. You'll have to stay tuned or tune in on a Wednesday to see if you can spot them all. There will be a test, but I won't be marking them myself. So anyway, what are we up to next? We're going to move to 2 for Friday. 2 songs that have some sort of logical link to them, if I do say so myself. We start off with Bananarama. I'm going to stop myself from saying the title, as the link is somewhere in there.
Trying to smile, but the air is
bus stop, running up the stairs, gonna meet you on the rooftop. But now it's a different world. Go out and find a girl. Come on, and dance all night. Just like the heat, it'll be alright. And babe, don't you know it's a pity the days don't be like the nights in the summer, in the city, in the summer, in the city.
So that was the two for Friday. Did you spot the obvious link? Well, we heard from the Loving Spoonful just then with Summer in the City, and before that we heard Cruel Summer from Bananarama. Well, both songs charted at number 8 in our charts. That isn't the link. Obviously, it is the summer. It was the connection with the fact that both of them are talking about the summer. They did actually also chart at number 8 in our charts. Just an interesting fact I had to share with you as well. What have we got in store? Well, we've got brand new music lined up next. It's the last of the brand new music on today's show, as time is running short. We don't have very much time left together, but I'm going to make the most of it. And up next, we're going to be listening to Tunnel Vision is the name of the song. I'm just trying to grab the information about the artist, which for some reason I don't have here in front of me. You know what I'll do? I'll play you the song, you can have a listen, and then I'll tell you about this artist after I've got all the information up, as I was too preoccupied talking to you about the 2 for Friday. Did you spot the link? You should have. It was fairly simple this week. Here is Tunnel Vision. It is by a artist or a band entitled Black Futures. They are a duo actually from London. I remembered the facts. I didn't need to dig them up. Yes, they are a duo from London entitled Black Futures, and here is Tunnel Vision. Have a listen and see what you think of it.
You bring me to my knees.
So that was entitled Tunnel Vision, although you might have guessed that right at the end of that song. It is a duo from London entitled Black Futures, the name of the song, Tunnel Vision. If you want to find out more about them, then there is a link on my Twitter feed, and I have also posted a link to my Twitter feed on the Eden FM Twitter feed as well. So I do like to say Twitter feed. Apparently so, at least anyway. So we're just about to wrap up today's show. Thank you very much for joining me, whichever way you have joined me today, as there are many options, and I'm trying to open up the options of how you can join us here at Eden FM, or at least these shows here at Eden FM with me, as I stream what you can see. You can see me in the studio. You could watch me and see what I'm up to. I play some of the trailers, and I talk to you directly through the camera, maybe sometimes. Who knows? Anyway, what are we up to? 2 more songs possibly before I make my way out of the studio, but do stay tuned, as the rock show is scheduled to be up next after me at 8 o'clock, and no doubt it will be another excellent showing of the rock show, so stay tuned for that and other things I forget to mention, but still are definitely worth a listen. We move to Black Sabbath and Heaven and Hell. I do apologise to the Black Sabbath fans out there, and also Black Sabbath, as I am fading that one a little early. We have very little time left on today's show, and I've got a couple more songs left to play for you. So I'm going to fade out Heaven and Hell from Black Sabbath, although that was the title track from the album that also saw Ronnie James Dio as taking the place from Ozzy Osbourne. It was the first album, full album, that Ronnie had taken over for. That's the main point I wanted to point out. Anyway, up next we've got Shocking Blue, and then one more song after that, and then I'm making my way out of the studio. Shocking Blue is the name of the band, and Send Me a Postcard is the name of the song. Well, where does the time go then? We have been having so much fun that it has flown by. You have been listening to The Bridge, the 6th ever episode of The Bridge here on Eden FM 107.5. It has been hosted by me and will continue to be hosted by me. But if you wish to catch me again, then my next port of call will be on Wednesday. Between the same hours that you find me here for The Bridge, you will find me on Wednesday between 6 and 8 for online. Tune in then to find out more about it. We finish off with Pearl Jam and Just Breathe. Whatever your plans are for the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourselves and do be lucky until we meet again.
Yes, I understand that every life must end. As we sit alone, I know someday we must go on. Oh, I'm a lucky man to count on both hands the ones I love. Some folks just have one, yeah, others they got none. Stay with me. Let's just breathe. Practiced on my sins, never gonna let me win. Under everything, just another human being. Yeah, I don't wanna hurt. There's so much in this world to make me bleed. Stay with me, oh, all I see. Did I say that I need you? Did I say that I want you? Or if I did, I'm a fool. No one knows this more than me. As I come clean, I wonder every day as I look upon your face. Everything you gave and nothing you would take on. Nothing you would take. Everything you did I say that I need you? Oh, did I say that
Listen online at www.edenfm.co.uk. On the air and online at edenfm.co.uk. This is 107.5 Eden FM.
In the news, local people are being asked for their views on Cumbria's highways and transport services, from the condition of the roads and footpaths to the quality of cycling facilities. Their answers will be compared with the views of other members of the public across England and Scotland, thanks to the National Highways and Transport Public Satisfaction Survey. Cumbria County Council is one of 111 local authorities to sign up for the standardised survey that will ask members of the public exactly the same questions wherever they live in Cumbria. The survey, which is being run for the 10th year, is the largest collaboration between local authorities, offering the opportunity to compare results, share best practice and identify further opportunities to work together in the future. The questionnaire will be sent to a minimum random sample of at least 3,300 Cumbria residents